Hi, friends. As we complete this series, Keep, Stop, and Start, and come kind of to the culmination of that series and our understanding of what it means to overcome, as Romans talks about, to overcome evil with good, that is, overcome those things that are in our way by Jesus Christ. I've been thinking about what I desire to overcome, what we can overcome as God's people, what keeping, stopping, and starting, what enduring in our discipleship, hindering and stopping those things that might be obstacles in our discipleship, and starting new things, something maybe we've desired to do for a while or something that just now occurred to us, how that can help us in our following Jesus, and how those things put together can help us overcome those things in the world that are in our way and that keep us from being, as a body, as a community, as a worldwide church of believers and followers of Jesus, what we can overcome and seek to overcome. And I'm reminded of a quote that I often use and I keep posted in the wall in my office, a quote from Dallas Willard, who is a philosopher and teacher of the way of Jesus and teacher on discipleship and writer that I recommend, and you may have heard me use this quote before. He says this: "The first and most basic thing we can and must do is to keep God before our minds. This is the fundamental secret of caring for our souls. Our part in thus practicing the presence of God is to direct and redirect our minds constantly to Him. In the early time of our practicing, we may well be challenged by our burdensome habits of dwelling on things less than God. But these are habits, not the law of gravity, and can be broken. A new, grace-filled habit will replace the former ones as we take intentional steps toward keeping God before us. Soon our minds will return to God as the needle of a compass constantly returns to the north. If God is the great longing of our souls, He will become the pole star of our inward beings." It's a drum that I beat constantly, which is to say, we're being discipled and we're being taught and formed in images that aren't Christ often. Sometimes without us knowing, sometimes with our willful participation, to be like someone or something, to be part of a group or a tribe or some sort of organization. And it's sometimes in competition with us being more and more like Jesus, which really is the goal of us being a disciple of Jesus. And I think what Dallas Willard says here really encapsulates what I desire for myself, but also for the church to overcome if we continue to keep following Jesus, to stop those things that get in the way of us following Him, and to start new things that will draw us even closer to Him, and that we will overcome this desire to be led and brought along by other things, by other masters, by other leaders, by other voices that are taking us in a different direction. I think another helpful way of thinking about this frame of keep, stop, and start is what Dallas Willard says here about directing and redirecting our minds. In the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of strife around racial reconciliation, with an upcoming election in our own country that causes a lot of hopefully good conversation, but often venomous confrontation, I'm reminded to direct and redirect my mind to Christ, that we can overcome this desire to lead ourselves, we can overcome this desire to be led by voices that would lead us away from Christ and to something other than Christ, and that we can really sit in that image and that belief that God really is the one that guides us and can shape us not into something other than we are, but the best version of who God created us to be. So in thinking about what it means to overcome, it's not just overcoming small obstacles in my aspirations or who I want to be or what I want my career to be like or what I want my family to be like or my own interior life to be like, but really to overcome the fact that there are voices and powers in this world that wish to draw me elsewhere and form me in ways that are unlike Christ. And so I hope that's encouraging to you. I hope you'll read some Dallas Willard, and I hope you'll reflect on what it means to overcome those things in your way of becoming more and more like the person God created you to be. Hope you have a great week.